During the mass migration of Europeans to America, two of the largest groups of immigrants were the Irish and then the Germans, at an estimated 1,611,000 and 1,301,000 respectively in the U.S., according to the 1860 census. And these millions of immigrants brought their heavy drinking culture with them to the New World. German immigrants were especially keen on keeping their beer traditions alive with the founding of brewing companies, many of which were formed right here in Milwaukee. Pabst in 1844, Schlitz in 1849, and Miller in 1855. There was an unfortunate notion spread by many immigrants that the more you drank, the more German or Irish or Italian you were. Naturally, this drove men to drink more and more and more. Statistics available show that pure alcohol consumption in the U.S. peaked at 7.1 gallons per person aged 15 and up in 1810, and stayed high all the way to the end of the century. What kept this number so high was the increase in availability and consumption of distilled liquors. To contrast, the average American of drinking age only consumes about 2.3 gallons of pure alcohol a year today. In a time when women did not have many rights, were expected to work in the home, and divorce was out of the question, they were completely dependent on their husbands for income. But all the wages would be spent at the saloon, and a drunk man could not work or support his family. The women and children who were victims of alcoholism were but a part of the movements scattered nationwide to ban alcohol. As early as the 1830s to the 1840s, American Protestant churches encouraged moderation in drinking, and this gradual push got more and more extreme as the years went on. This temperance movement highlighted the perils of women and children at the mercy of violent drunken men. In the 1850s and 1860s, Prohibition aligned itself with the abolitionists, wanting to be seen as another movement meant to rid America of societal evils. Methodist and Baptist preachers eventually called for abstinence from alcohol around the 1870s. In 1874, the Women's Christian Temperance Union was formed. An organization born from the small, local movements to restrict alcohol, they eventually allied themselves with women's rights activists such as Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. The WCTU eventually got powerful enough to lobby local governments to enact dry laws prohibiting the sale or distribution of alcohol. Soon after, the bipartisan Anti-Saloon League was formed in 1893, becoming one of the most powerful single-issue lobbying groups in America. National prohibition finally entered the realm of possibility among federal lawmakers in 1913, when the 16th Amendment allowed the federal government to collect income taxes. Before income taxes, roughly 1/3 of all federal revenue came from the taxes on alcohol. With this new, massive source of revenue, the government could finally give in to the demands made for decades to place bans on alcohol. At the time, 8 states already had dry laws in effect, and 17 more would join them in the years between the 16th and 18th Amendments. The 18th Amendment passed Congress in December of 1917 and was ratified by the states in January of 1919, though would not take effect until 1 year later.